For regular videos on ancient cultures and forgotten civilizations, please subscribe.
The capital cities of ancient states often capture the imagination, especially when their locations remain undiscovered. Mesopotamia, in particular, is home to several such lost cities. Among these, Akkad, Shubat and Lil, and Washukanni stand out, each promising significant rewards for their discoverers. Of these, Washukanni, the capital of the Mitanni Empire in northern Mesopotamia during the mid-2nd millennium BCE, has garnered the most attention. Scholars have relied on scattered geographical references in cuneiform texts from the Mitanni period to try to locate the city. What clues have been left for us, and what progress has been made in finding this elusive capital? We're going to talk about that in this video. Mitanni, referred to as Habagalbat in Old Babylonian texts, Hanagalbat in Assyrian records, and Naharin in Egyptian sources, was a significant state in northern Syria and southeast Anatolia. It existed for less than 400 years, around 1600 to 1260 BCE. Its population spoke the Hurrian language, though there were clear influences from Indo-Aryan speakers, both politically and linguistically. The name Mitanni is sometimes connected with the name of a legendary founder, Maita, but probably derives from the Indo-Aryan root Maita, meaning to unite, combined with the Hurrian suffix ni, which suggests the meaning united kingdom. Mitanni's most famous ruler was Shoshtatar, whose conquests in the 15th century extended the boundaries of the state considerably. Another ruler we know something about is Tushratta, who was a contemporary of Akhenaten of Egypt in the 14th century. Some of Tushratta's letters have been preserved among the Amarna letters, but generally speaking, we have almost no Mitanni documents at all. Due to a lack of discovered historical records like royal annals or chronicles, most of what is known about Mitanni comes from references in texts from its neighbors. This has made the search for its capital, Washukanni, particularly important to archaeologists because, if found, there could be remnants of an ancient archive there. And we're hungry for more information about this fascinating ancient state. Sometimes identifying an ancient city with a modern site is possible because of local traditions or in the survival of the name in some form, but we have none of that for Washukanni. The name, Washukanni, likely originates from the Old Indo-Aryan Wasukani, formed from the Indic word vasu, meaning good, and combined with the Hurrian suffix ni. The good place? Sometimes written records leave clues. Hittite sources from this time mention Washukanni as a capital city, and Washukanni was famously sacked by the Hittite king Shupililiuma I. He reigned about 1344 to 1322 BCE, and he replaced its ruler with a Hurrian vassal, Shatiwaza. Shupililiuma's conquest route passed through several places, including Isuwa, Alse, Khutmar, and Suta, before returning to the Euphrates and Halpa, ultimately leading to Washukanni. This path suggests that Washukanni may have been located near modern-day Mardin. Scholars have generally agreed that the city was likely situated in the area where the Khabar and Jagrag rivers meet in what is now northern Syria. In the 1940s and 50s, interest in finding Washukanni led to several archaeological digs focused on this goal. Calvin McEwen's 1940 excavation at Tel Fekheriye, followed by Anton Mortgat's work at the same site in 1955 and 56, and J. Lawfrey's 1955 dig at Tel Tuera, all aimed to uncover the city's location. However, none provided conclusive evidence, leaving the mystery of Washukanni's location unsolved and in need of new clues. The site that has received the most attention in regard to this question is Tel Fekheriye. The area around Tel Fekheriye is highly fertile, making it ideal for agriculture and livestock farming. This fertility contributed to the development of a dense settlement system in antiquity, with Tel Fekheriye and nearby Tel Halaf as the two key sites. German archaeologist Max von Oppenheim visited Tel Fekheriye early in his career and by 1927 had concluded that this site could have been the capital of the Mitanni state, Washukanni. That same year, another archaeologist, Dietrich Opitz, published a note supporting this identification using philological evidence available at the time. Interest in the site of Tel Fekheriye resurfaced in 1979 when construction work led to the discovery of a statue with a bilingual inscription, Assyrian and Aramaic, of Hadad Yisi, the Aramean king of Guzana and a vassal of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. Dedicated to the temple of the storm god in the city of Sikani, the statue reignited discussions about Tel Fekheriye's identification as Washukanni. Opitz had previously suggested that Tel Fekheriye could be Sikani, which he believed was linked to the name Washukanni. A joint Syrian-German excavation mission led by Abd el-Maseh Bagdo and Alexander Preuss took place in 2001, focusing on the architectural sequences of Middle and Neo-Assyrian buildings. Although the project held potential, it didn't continue beyond the first season. In 2005, a new Syrian-German partnership, including the Free University of Berlin, resumed excavations. Recent archaeological work by a German team, supported by scholars like Stefano Di Martino, Mirko Novak, and Dominik Bonetz, provided further backing for identifying Tel Fekheriye as Washukanni. However, despite many seasons of excavation, no definitive documentation of the Mitanni capital's name has been found there. Tablets from the Middle Assyrian occupation were discovered, but none from earlier periods. Still, architectural and material evidence suggests that Tel Fekheriye was a prestigious Mitanni administrative center. The location at the head of the Khaber River is significant in both religious and political contexts, placing the site at the heart of the Mitanni state. So, although no conclusive textual evidence has been unearthed, the remarkable Mitanni architectural remains at Tel Fekheriye suggest that a major political center may have been established there at the very least. But there are reasons to doubt the identification of Tel Fekheriye as Washukanni. In the 1970s, a neutron activation analysis, NAA, was conducted to determine the origins of clay objects based on their chemical composition. This technique measures the abundance of 30 chemical elements in clay with high precision. For the method to work effectively in archaeology, two criteria must be met. First, similar chemical profiles must exist among the objects from a suspected source of clay, and second, the chemical profiles of potential source sites must be distinguishable from one another. NAA has been successfully used since 1969 to trace the origins of pottery across the Near East. In this case, it was applied to cuneiform letters, specifically the Amarna correspondence from the Mitanni king Tushratta to Egypt. I mentioned him before. Although no letter explicitly states it was written in Washukanni, these letters were thought to be written from the Mitanni capital on local clay. Samples from 6 of these letters, stored in the Berlin and British museums, were tested. 4 of the tablets showed a homogeneous chemical profile, which was used to create a fingerprint for Washukanni. And within the Khaber region, the clay there seems to vary in composition over a short distance, which makes it possible theoretically to locate pottery sources through this method fairly precisely. So, they did the analysis and found that the clay from Tushratta's letters did not match the clay from the Khaber Triangle. This means that if the analysis was done correctly and was based on good data, Tel Fekheriye is probably not Washukanni. Moreover, Edward Lipinski, an expert in Semitic languages, asserted that the ancient name of Tel Fekheriye, which he pronounced as Sikan, was not related to the name Washukanni at all, and that it was in fact a West Semitic loanword meaning sacred stone. He pointed out that the name of the place, Sikan, went back to at least 2000 BCE, prior to the Mitannian period, because a tablet from the Ur-3 period identifies it as such and links it with the goddess of the source of the Khaber River. The factors seem to weigh against the site as our Mitanni capital. But as you might expect, there are those who doubt the results of the neutron activation analysis and who disagree with Lipinski. As far as I know, no neutron analysis studies have been done for other places. But other sites have been proposed as possible locations for Washukanni. Examples include Tel Farfara, Uchtepe Hoyuk in Diyarbakir, Turkey, and the larger Koçlu Tepe, but no place has been confirmed as the one we're looking for. If the archaeologists working at Tel Fekheriye turn up some text from the Mitanni period, this may help us in either establishing or ruling out the site as Washukanni. Or if an excavation at another site turns up new clues, this may get us closer. I think it is entirely possible that we will find the city in the future, but when? I do not know. For now, the location of Washukanni remains a mystery. Thank you for watching. As a reminder, this channel is audience supported, and if you believe it is doing a public service and would like to help keep it chugging along, please consider becoming a channel patron for as little as $2 per month at patreon.com/World of Antiquity. Or you can make a one-time donation as a super thanks by clicking the super thanks button right below the video.
You might like my little e-booklet, Why Ancient History Matters. It's designed to persuade people that the subject is important, even in the modern world. You might also wish to use it to help spread the word, so feel free to share it with someone you know. It's free for anyone who wants it. I've left a link in the description box below the video for you to grab a copy. Catch you later.